welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I do not know whether we are starting all over again or whether it's still the same live stream. Like I said to you guys, we're testing out a new one. So, anyway, back to what we're saying. So, um, family independence, it's very, very key. It's important that we do the right things and we instill the right cultures and values in our children, and we don't teach them how to do shortcuts. Because if we teach them to do shortcut, then they will do shortcut. In reality, family shapes nations. The family is the tiniest nucleus of what a nation is. If you want to know what's wrong with Nigeria, then look at the families. The families shape nations. When our homes are free and value driven, the ripple flows out into the society. And that's why we do what we do every time at Upyouwithezinne, trying to shape the woman. Because the woman is actually the hands that rock the cradle in truth. If the woman gets it, then she will go and translate it into her home, and then the children will get it, and then everyone will be all right. Sincerely, if the family is all right, then the nation will get the healing that it requires. Broken people just do broken things. If we become wholesome, if we become intentional in how we raise our children, if we raise value driven children, if we become value driven people ourselves, then we will add value back into the society. It is not the birthright of anyone, it is something that we can all learn, something that we can all acquire, something that we can be intentional about in our lives, and then see it happen. And then finally, very quickly, because time is fast spent, let us zoom out to Nigeria as a nation. I'm sure that a lot of people would love this segment because, yes, we're finally speaking and talking what they want to hear. But like I always say, everything begins first within, then without. Because even the people at the helms of affair in Nigeria need to fix themselves. That's the truth. You cannot give what you do not have. Okay? So let's zoom out into Nigeria as a nation. We're 65 years old today, you know, old enough to have gray hairs, old enough to have gray hairs, and young enough to still have energy. After all, look at the people leading us. What are their ages? And they still have energy, if you know what I mean. So, but the big question is, and the big question remains, even to this moment, are we truly independent? Are we truly, truly independent? You know, economically, do we stand on our own 2 feet as a nation? Or are we still borrowing every day? Politically, do our leaders put people first? Or are we still under invisible chains? The British may have gone. We may have gained independence, but do we still have those chains around us? You know, when the conference team this year was put out and it was called Unbound, this is all part of it. Is there a chain around our nation? If there are chains around us, invisible, or maybe even visible, as the case may be, if we are still walking around bound, then our nation will be bound. You know, there's this story or fable that is told about a donkey that was tied, for a long time, many years probably, to a pole. And so, if he wanted to leave and there was a circle around it, if he wanted to leave that circle that was drawn around it, the chain brings it back. Many years later, the donkey was unchained. And guess what? Because he was used to not passing that circumference that was drawn around it, that circle that was drawn around it, he didn't even realize that he's been unbound. He still didn't leave that circle. He was still inside there. For some of us, even though we complain, we are comfortable in our comfort zone, that we don't even want to explore and say what else is possible. The truth is, when you complain about the thing that is not working for you, the next thing that is expected is that you should change that thing. At least attempt to change it. If I'm locked up in a room and it's hot, I'm going to be asking for air, either a fan, an AC, or I'll say, please open the door or break open the window. The thing with us in Nigeria is that we're going to be shouting it, but when we have the opportunity, we're not going to buy a fan. We'll still say we don't have money to buy the fan. And then, okay, oh yeah, break open the window, break open a wall or something. Oh, we're going to say, no, we'll find another excuse. We're so used to giving excuses that we do not even realize that most of what we now give are just excuses. Because while we are busy making those excuses, somebody else has broken the wall and it's getting air. And then we're saying at them, or however we say it. So politically, are we still under invisible chains, even though we gained independence 65 years ago? We need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what is binding us? What are we bound with? And begin to unbound. Okay? Socially, do Nigerians feel a sense of belonging and dignity? Once upon a time, we were the happiest people on earth. These days, I go around looking for people who are smiling. Very far and in between. Try it. When you drive around today, it's a public holiday in Nigeria. When you drive around any part of the country, count how many people you see on the streets, genuinely laughing, having a good time. I'm not talking about social media because we all come up here and we try, we form. I mean, seriously, on the street, you're going and you see somebody walking with gait and energy, and someone is in a festive, if you listen well enough, you hear some kind of merriment in the background because in my estate, we're celebrating October 1st. We're doing the walkathon. Yeah, but really, how many people are laughing? How many people are smiling? How many people have a sense of belonging? How many people say, oh, Nigeria, my country, you won't fail me? How many people can beat their chest and say, I'm a citizen. All I need to say is I'm a Nigerian and I'll get the help that I need? Or are we all living under the cloak of, may Nigeria not happen to you? But you see, the thing is that the things we're afraid of are the things that are happening. And it's time that we jettisoned the fear and did the work. Normally, I would have written one nice thing on Facebook about Nigeria 65 and all of that, but I don't feel like that today because I think it's time that we woke up. 65 cannot in any way, manner, or form be termed a child. We're not expecting that we're going to be as advanced as countries that are 200 years old, but at least we should be heading somewhere that should be a blueprint that everybody can see and key into and feel a sense of belonging. Ask yourself, I'm a Nigerian, I live in Nigeria. What does that even mean? How is that playing out in the scheme of things? What is my contribution in making sure that this nation works? I mean, if not for yourself, because some of us are used to suffering already, what about the children that you've bettered in this system? Are you happy? Are you truly content knowing that your children are going to have a rough time? Not knowing when the job will come. There are homes that have graduates right now at home. You've worked your youth, you've used your hard-earned productivity, your money, everything, and trained your children. And now you have 2, 3 graduates sitting in your house. No job, CVs flying everywhere, but no jobs coming. Are you happy? If you're not happy, what are you going to do about it? You have your money, your child is sick, you've gone to a public hospital, and you've been on queue, and they just come out and say to you, sorry, we can't see you today. Come in 2 days' time. As like in someone has a program for how the sickness is going to progress, that they will say to you, go home, come in 2 days' time. You presented yourself in the hospital because you feel unwell, and somebody says, we can't see you today. How does that even make you feel? And of course, going to a private hospital is not an option for you because you do not even have the money to do that. Do these things give you a sense of belonging? Do you feel dignity that you're a Nigerian citizen? Or is it schools? Are we talking about people that won't even rent you a house because you're from a certain tribe? Are we talking about the fact that if you're not married, you won't even get a house? There's so many things going on. And you just be asking yourself, what does it even mean to be Nigerian? How are you a Nigerian citizen? My people have a saying that these things, when you're carrying some other person's corpse, or when you hear the ambulance wailing, because it's not wailing for a member of your family or a friend of yours, it's not them. But it's coming closer to everybody now. If you live long enough, you will experience Nigeria. So the question to ask yourself today is the Nigeria you want to experience. What are you doing towards building it? It is what you put in that you'll get out. Correct, Tosin. We are independent on paper, but not in reality. I absolutely agree with you. Too much dependence on foreign aid and imports. Another story for another day. But yes, you're correct. 65 years after, what are we going to do about it? Or what are we doing about it? How? We will begin the journey back home, the journey back to ourselves, the journey back to our authenticity. Everybody believes that foreign is better. Local is not good. I grew up on local rice. But somewhere along the line, everybody went to basmati. That local rice became something else. But well, all the illnesses and everything is forcing us back. And then, of course, cost is forcing us right back to the local rice, which is even more nutritious. When I was growing up, we had the plants, the automobile plants in Nigeria. So you could buy the Peugeot, the Volkswagen. I'm not sure there's any plant anymore. I know that as a copper in Kaduna, I did a lot of business with the textile mills. I was selling all those fabrics and everything. I'm not even sure anybody's producing anything anymore. Everything is down to Ashebi that we're using now for events. We're importing it. And then you hear things like, oh, we've sold out that design. You have to think about another design. Hello, somebody. Are we thinking at all? And everybody wants to be like the Joneses. And so A has done it, so you do it. That's the one that amazes me. You sit down here, we talk as, in our hubs, we all talk and everything, and we say, oh, this is not right and this is not right. And then the moment you get elevated, you do the very same things you said were not right. Who did this to us? Wow. Thank you, Tosin, for that. Thank you. We are independent on paper. It's time we owned the independence. It's time we brought it out and said to ourselves, let's break this thing down. What is personal independence to me, Tosin? What is family independence to the family of Tosin? It is only when we get number one and number two that we can talk about number three. Handing it down from nation, it doesn't work that way. It's the other way around, actually. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Joseph. National independence will come when the average Nigerian doesn't need connections to succeed. National independence will come when the average Nigerian doesn't need connections to succeed. And we all know these things because in the countries where we have all sent our children, there are no connections. Amazing. Some of us don't even get to see the reports of our kids because those people don't deal with us. They deal with the children. Those are the people that are training, not us. Right here, we elevate your father is. Do you know whose child this is? Out there? Trust me. They just want your child. They'll give the child a report. If the child wants to show you, okay. The child doesn't want to show you, okay. The child is an adult. We go there for the things they have. We don't want to come and translate it over here. And you know the funniest thing? All of us are going to live to a long, ripe old age, and we're going to reap everything. The same people that we have left broken systems to, for them to grow up in, broken education system, broken health system, and they will rise up and become the leaders. And you and I are going to be here. So if we don't want to get to that point at that time, where that person today who is struggling against all odds in a country blessed with milk and honey, that's what I was taught. Nigeria is a nation blessed with milk and honey. If we don't want that child that is suffering in this country right now and who is going to become the leader tomorrow, ah, to deal with all of us, because he too will have his own trauma, we better fix what needs to be fixed right now. It starts with you, it starts with me. Aha. Okay. An entrepreneur here says, for me, Nigeria's independence is when we start exporting ideas, not just raw materials. Of course, you and I know that I have a favorite travel partner, and every time we are in a country, um, like the UK, for instance, the person goes like, this is all our raw material. This is all our raw material. And I'm just smiling to myself. But it's a fact. The cocoa comes from where? Africa. The gold comes from where? Africa. And then we are so short sighted that we sell all these things and they go and refine it and then come back to us to buy it for more than we sold it to them. How do you sell your raw material for 10 naira and they bring it back for you to buy for 1 million naira? And we know these things, and we have not said to ourselves, how can we now even do it ourselves and sell back to them for 5 million naira? I know, yeah, my husband says I do Chinese mathematics. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. Mhm. That's it. These people come here, take the ideas, refine them. The one that amused me the other day, Ghana must go back. Have you seen it? The one that Louis Vuitton put out? Trust me, a Nigerian is going to go and buy it. Just so they can say, oh, I got my Ghana must go back from LV. Thank you very much for that. These are hard truths, but also there are opportunities. The idea is not to get you feeling down. The idea is to get you thinking. Because when we think right, we will do right. We will act right. We will take the right steps that will take us to the right direction. And we do the right actions. Because independence is never a one time event, it's a continuous journey. It's not going to end. It's a continuous journey until we fully, fully become. And then we only fully, fully become when everybody has a sense of belonging in the nation and when there is dignity of citizenship. When every child knows that because I'm a Nigerian, I'm going to get basic education and good quality one at that. When everybody knows that, you know what? If you're ill and you walk into a hospital, nobody's going to say, who are you and where are you coming from? Did someone refer you before you get treated? When nobody is going to deny you blood transfusion, something as paltry as that. When people like me would walk into hospitals and donate blood because just because you have a lot and you just do not know who might be needing it, who may not have money. You build up blood banks for emergencies. When we're going to become a brother's keeper again, when you see a child erring and saying, no, 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 it's not like this, not harshly, but correct in love. When we're going to enjoy living in the community, being a brother's keeper, when you're not going to extort from someone, when you're not going to withhold a hug or a comment that will uplift another. We keep saying, don't carry your burden alone. Share, share, share. When you share, what happens? Let's even start from there. Some people have shared things with us and we haven't done anything to help them, but we've run the whole world with their story. Today, I call us to higher heights. I call us to wake up. I call us to ask ourselves, why are we here? You're not an accident. You are not, God didn't make a mistake to make you a Nigerian. When you go on some blogs and stuff on social media and you see the comments say, God, why? Why am I a Nigerian? You're a Nigerian because God knows that it's best for you to be a Nigerian and you have in you the requisite talents that would reform Nigeria. But however, you're waiting, and I don't know what you're waiting for. The fire is in you. For every time you find something you don't like, that's something you can talk about. That's something you can work on. That's something you can change. Yes, the change will not be all encompassing. It can happen at once, but start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. So, what have we discovered today, everyone? Independence is not just about history, it's about agency, the power to choose, the courage to build, the responsibility to contribute. I'll say that again. Independence is not just about history. You know, when I was growing up, like today, October 1, all of us would have filed out to the stadium. You know, I grew up in Imo State. So would have gone to the stadium in a way. And then we'll do match pasts and all of that, you know? And then there'll be in all of that fanfare and everything. And then you go home, you eat rice, and hey, there'll be little flags flying up and down, and then lots of merriment. The band will be drumming and everything, and you say, "Oh, October 1, yeah, hey, Nigeria got independence today." Those were even happier days, I guess. I'm not even sure anybody does that anymore. What I'm saying is, it's not just about that. Independence is about agency, the power to choose, the courage to build, and the responsibility to contribute. Nigerians' independence is just about 10 years older than I am. And the question I've been asking myself, what have you contributed to this country that has brought you this far? We've talked enough, we've prayed enough, we've wailed enough. As individuals, families, and a nation, we've done all of that. But hey, the truth is, we are still on this journey. And we have to be grateful that we're still on this journey. The nation hasn't collapsed completely, it has not become irredeemable. Yes, things that we do not like are happening. The fact that we can even notice that we don't like them, the fact that we can talk about them and say we don't like them, it's proof that everything is figureable if only we decide that we want to do that. Every small act of courage, every honest conversation, every responsible choice pushes us closer to true independence. That's the truth. And that's my challenge to all of us today. Define independence for yourself. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional. Define independence for yourself and live it daily. Don't wait for the system to hand it to you. Begin where you are at with what you have. Very small act of courage. Don't give that bribe. Don't take it. Don't inflate the price. The person you're inflating the price for hasn't gotten a salary raise in the last 3 years. Teach with all your heart. If you're a teacher, that student, that one that you casually beat, the one you don't attend to, may end up becoming the president of the country Because guess what? The children of the rich that you're looking at aren't coming back to join politics. Nah, it is that child in your class. So teach him well, teach her well. You might be raising the next president of the country. As for you, a doctor, please treat your patients, listen to them, treat them. You took an oath. A lawyer, don't take bribes. Little things. Me, talk. Speak the truth you know to power. Little acts of courage. Every honest conversation. Don't paint something to be B when it's A if somebody is talking to you. Give your honest advice. They may take it, they may not take it, but give your honest advice at every point in time. You know, every responsible choice we make, not to drop trash on the road, not to cut NEPA pole, responsibly, to eat responsibly, to look after our choices that we make that will eventually move us forward. To work as if we are working unto God and not unto that person that we consider a very wicked employer. Wicked maybe, but they give you a reason to earn. So work as though you're working to God and He will elevate you. Don't wait for the system to hand it to you. Begin where you are at with what you have. I can't overemphasize these things. And I hope that you will sit down and have this conversation with yourself and choose to be a better citizen of this country and choose to be independent for yourself and then drive it forward to your family and then take it out there to the larger public so that a critical mass can arise, people who love this country and who are willing to take small acts of courage on a daily basis. People who show, who correct in love, who will be empathetic, who will understand that, see, what you're going through, another person is going through the same thing, if not worse. Ever since I got on this platform 3 years ago, the stories I've heard are super stories. Just put it like that. And these are stories of real Nigerian people going through stuff. So everybody's going through one thing or the other. Let's be kind. First to ourselves and then to every other person. Thank you so much for joining me on Upyouwithezinne Independence Day special. I hope you've gotten one or two things for yourself. I hope that you're going to be introspecting all of today and asking yourself how, why, where, when, and all of that. And I hope that we'll keep this conversation alive online with the hashtags Upyouwithezinne Nigeria at 65. Until I come your way next week, let's keep rising, let's keep reflecting, and let's keep defining freedom for ourselves and for Nigeria. Once again, happy Independence Day, Nigeria. I love you all and I'm rooting for this country. I believe that I will see the good of the land. This particular land, Nigeria, I will see the good of it. I will see that land of milk and honey. I will see a system that works. God will keep us alive to witness it because we are working for it. We've prayed for it. We're working for it, and we will see it with our eyes. We will leave a better nation for our children. We will not just be wailers, we will become doers. I'm going to close by saying, reading again the post that I read in the beginning, the one that I put on my Facebook page. A few days ago. I think the day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I'll read it again for us, and that would be what I'm closing with. And I'm saying, and it is what's the ma call? I'm trying to find it so I can read it word for word. Uh, Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. Now is the time to apply all that we know, and is the time to do all that we can. to ensure that our nation moves forward. If you don't know where to start, find someone who is doing something and join the person. And before you know it, one becomes two, two becomes four, four becomes eight, eight becomes 16. Look at the way it's increasing. A critical mass will be born. And most importantly, get ready for 2027. Do not sell your votes. Very critical. Do not. If that is all you can do, you have done something. Till I come your way next time, keep doing what? Being inspired and keep being you. Up you. My name, as always, is Ezinne Kufrekanem, and I can't wait to see you in my next stream. Yes, do stay tuned, and bye bye for now.